So, what are we here to talk about? We're here to talk about the 3 steps to end anxiety, to overcome anxiety. So I'm going to give you 3 wisdom nuggets. This is based on research. This is not some, hearsay. This is not some voodoo stuff. And what I would like for us to do is to set the tone for it. Let's go and do some breath work. Let's do breath work, bring ourselves to the here and now. I know we had lots of moving parts here, sound not working, music too loud, too less. So we're going to be, no matter where you came from, if you came down from the road, driving, running, doing whatever, this next 10 minutes will make you completely centered. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. The first breathwork, pranayama. So I do pranayama exercises, which is an ancient wisdom around breathwork. The first exercise is something called Brahmari. This Brahmari means the buzzing bee. Here's how it's going to work. I want you to breathe in using your nostrils, and we're going to go ahead and close our ears and eyes using those 2 fingers. You see, I'm using the middle ring finger and the thumb. The other fingers, are the index and the pinky, are doing nothing. So the way I do it is that don't do it quite yet. Just watch me, because you can't hear me if you close your ears. I'm going to close my ear using the earlobe. And I'm going to go ahead and close my eyes using the middle ring finger. Deep inhale into the diaphragm, into the abdomen using the diaphragm muscle. And then as I let go, it's going to come out as a long hum. So the mouth is closed at all times. It's going to look like this. All right? So that's what the buzzing bee Brahmari is. So we're going to do 3 rounds of Brahmari. And I want you to inhale for a count of 5. Exhale for a count of 10 or longer. As long and as slowly as you can breathe out, the better it is. All right? We're going to do 3 rounds, and then we're going to connect back again. So I want you to go ahead, close your ears, close your eyes, deep inhale. Second round. Third round. Go ahead and drop your hands, let it rest. We're going to move on to the second exercise, which is called 4-7-8 breathing. This is an excellent breathing exercise for the relaxation, for stress reduction, for anxiety release. Okay? And in this exercise, it's very simple. We're going to inhale for a count of 4, hold for a count of 7, and release for a count, or exhale from a count of 8. Inhalation is going to happen through the nostrils. Exhalation is going to happen through the tongue, which comes out as a whoosh. Now, I'm going to add something that's going to really step up the game here. As a deep natural tranquilizer for your nervous system, here, do this. I want you to stick your tip of your tongue to the back of the front teeth. So you see that ridge where the skin of the tissue of the upper front teeth, where it begins, it touches the teeth. I want you to touch your tip of your tongue to that point. It's called a 5-point. So that's going to be a deep relaxing technique. And so inhale through the nostrils, exhale with your mouth with a whoosh. Remember, 4, 7, 8. 4, inhale through the nostrils. Count of 7, we're going to hold. Exhale for a count of 8, completely emptying your lungs. Okay, let's do 5 rounds of this together. Together, inhale. You can do this lying down, you can do this sitting up, you can do however you feel relaxed. Hold. And release. Exhale. One breath of count for hold while you empty lungs, and then inhale. Hold. And release. Exhale. Bottom of the lungs, hold for a second. Inhale. Through the nostrils, always inhalation through the nostrils. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Just now go back to regular breathing, 5 in and 5 out. Inhale through the nostrils, exhale through the nostrils, mouth closed. This is your regular breathing. And just feel into your body. Feel the change you're already noticing. How the body comes alive as you learn to oxygenate, which is what the holding does. When you hold your breath, you're giving your body a chance to completely shed the carbon dioxide and exchange it for the oxygen. This is a way of accumulating carbon dioxide, so there's an optimal interchange at your lung tissue. So you're able to maximize the nourishment of your bloodstream. This is ancient, deep wisdom, but yet so simple when you get down to practicing it. This is the breakfast for your lungs. Whether you realize it or not, during the course of the day, we tend to hold our breath not knowing it. We tend to breathe shallow. We tend to not exhale completely and for long. All of this is actually preventing the body from getting its vital life force, the oxygen. And so when you take 15 minutes like this, just to consciously breathe And these pranayama techniques I'm teaching you are about altering your breath, holding your breath, elongating your breath, which is a way to nourish and rejuvenate every nook and cranny of your body. Okay, we're moving on to the next exercise. You can sit with your legs crossed, or you can do this kneeling down. For the purpose of the camera, I'm just going to be sitting here the way I am right now, upright, resting the bottom of my feet on the floor, and if the position isn't comfortable, cross-legged. Or if you're kneeling down, you can cross your legs behind you, if that's comfortable for you. And I want you to bring your hands to your knees, stretching your arms and your fingers long. You're going to take in a deep breath into your nose, and as you exhale, you're going to vocalize it with a ha. This is called lion's breath. Along with that exhalation with a ha, you're going to stick your tongue out and make a fierce face like a lion. Ha, ha, ha. So that's how the exhalation is going to happen. Okay? So let's do 5 rounds of this together. I want you to go ahead and, if you can, focus, bring your focus to your third eye. This is where the body now knows what to do. You're given it instructions, it can take care of it. Where's your mind going to be? Your mind, I want it to rest in the region of the center of your consciousness, the seat of the third eye, the seat of the soul. Okay, with that said, taking a deep breath, 5 rounds together. Ha. Next inhalation. Down into the belly. Anytime I tell you to breathe, it's always into the abdomen. Deep breathing using your diaphragm muscle. Ha. Third round. Inhale through the nose. Ha. Fourth round. Inhale. Ha. And last and final, 5th round. Ha. And relax. Just go back to the natural rhythmic breathing, 5 in and 5 out. And you're noticing that this time you've stretched your sinus cavities, you've stretched the muscles in your face. You probably feel a little bit happier because this is the same muscles that you would use when you laugh. And so this has got a deep correlation between the facial muscles and your mind. There's a correlation how your face reveals what's going on in your mind, and conversely, what's going on your face will affect the mind. So as we tend to change, we tend to elongate, we tend to extend these muscles, we also tend to create a certain mood in our mind. And now, let's move on to some of the wisdom nuggets. You're welcome to keep your eyes closed. As you listen to me, you're welcome to open them up. But I want to talk about 3 things that are going to enhance your mood, change your anxiety state, drop your tension and your worries. So there are things that are both extrinsic, that affect your mood, and intrinsic. But ultimately, the single most important thing that you need to understand it is really not what is happening outside, although we tend to account for it, we tend to blame something out there, we feel that something out there is affecting us. Ultimately, it is about what you are doing with this, what has happened out there, that is going to influence your mood. Now, this concept of worrying is something that is very primitive to the human mind. It has helped us through evolution. If you think about it, worrying is necessary for me to be able to prevent myself from getting into any sort of danger. It's for me to be able to forecast, for me to predict something that's happening out there that could be unsafe for me. The second thing is that worrying was a feature that our brain has developed as a way for us to be able to fit socially into our communities. If you think about it, we as a human being, we are a gregarious creature. We're not the strongest animal. We're not the fastest animal. We're not the biggest animal. But then how have we survived? How has it been that we have been able to survive and be able to be the single most dominant creature on this planet today? It's for one reason, that we have learned to band together. We work as tribes. We work in groups, and our unity is indeed our strength. And therefore, for us to be able to play by the rules of the community, for the safety of everyone, for the benefit of everyone, there's been mechanisms where when I get a threat to be ostracized from the community, then I have this worry, this fear, this anxiety kick in. So there's been a benefit to this thing. Now, we live in a time where our brain is now over worrying. It has no other thing to do sometimes but besides worry. We're very good at picking things to worry about. Now that is the biggest drain on your energy. Yes, there has been a benefit evolutionarily, but unfortunately, like anything else, when something gets perverted, when it becomes out of control, there's no reason. We are not having to live with saber-toothed tigers down by the river where we go to fetch water. And yet that feature that has been built into our primordial, our primitive brain, has a tendency to kick in and tend to sabotage the rest of the brain functioning. So it's important to notice, what is the story that I'm telling inside my head? At all times, my friends, we are telling a story. The question is, what kind of a story is it? Is it a benevolent and uplifting, it's a mood-enhancing story? Or is it one of worry, of fear, of doubt? Now, one of the things that is very, very common across countries, across cultures, I've been to 61 countries around the world, and I have some sort of experience where I can say this with authority, that people say that they worry because that they care. You know, so often you see parents telling the child, I was worrying about you because I care about you, which is the biggest lie. And you know what? Parents don't even know that they're lying when they're saying that. Worry comes from a place of fear. Care is about love. And worry is not love. Fear is not love. It can be either fear or love. You choose. They both can coexist. So when we exhibit this quality, when we tell things like this to our children, guess what? At a very early age, we're giving them the wrong message. And they begin to confuse and think that worry is equal to care. Worry is equal to love, and it's not. And so I ask that you consider 3 questions. Anytime you find yourself worrying, when you find yourself in an anxious state, this is a cognitive behavior therapy remedy that I'm going to offer to you right now. Number 1, what is the worst that can happen? It's important to face your fear. It's important to realize that I'm willing to confront it, because what I avoid, I cannot overcome. What I accept, I overcome. So the first step is, what is the worst that can happen? Let's sit through this. By pushing it under the carpet, for avoiding it, by looking the other direction, we're not really building our immunity. We're not building our strength and our ability to overcome that which is sabotaging us. So let's face it. Let's work through it. Let's analyze it in the calmness of my mind. When a quiet place, when things are under control, let me look through the circumstance and say, what is the worst that can happen? The second question is, what is the best that can happen? Right? So let's actually think about the most positive, optimistic outcome that can come out of the circumstance that I'm in, given everything that is what is going on. And the third step is asking yourself the question, what is the most realistic thing that can happen? And quite probably, very likely, it is going to lie somewhere in between these 2 extremes that your mind is kicking up, right? The worst can happen, the best can happen. When what's a realistic that can happen, your logical mind, if you give it a chance, it will help you to process it. That's the first step. So mood enhancing, changing your mind by asking yourself. So it's basically a mental exercise, and you can actually make a meditation out of it. And I'm actually going to do a meditation a little bit later. The second thing I want to talk to you about, the importance of rituals. Throughout history, I talked about the idea of how mankind has been a gregarious creature. And now, when we are in community, when we are in rituals, rituals are a way for us to be able to celebrate life in a way that is mutually acceptable. It's in a way that in which we can socially come together. We find reasons, we find occasions, we find harvests, etc. And so traditionally, from all cultures around the world, you'll see they'll have some sort of a ritual. Now, one of the problems with this modern living that we've gotten into, We have disconnected from our ways of being, our traditional ways of being, the ways that have supported us to become such an advanced creature, such a dominant force on this planet Earth. And what is happening as we're becoming isolated, as we're becoming fragmented, and we're living in nuclear households, we are breaking away from that network that has been our greatest safety net. And so I ask that you go find ways. I ask that you seek out rituals, seek out communities in which you can find ways to celebrate, find ways to come together, find ways to enjoy just the most mundane things. Now, we live in a very unprecedented time. We're living in a time of a pandemic, and this pandemic seems to be extending forever. Now we talk about the third variant, the Delta variant. This is something that, in fact, today I heard some of my very close friends, their 5 and 7-year-old children have contracted the Delta COVID-19 through the nanny who was unvaccinated and passed it on to their father who was fully vaccinated. So this is real, my friends. This is real, that if you're not vaccinated, you have the danger, you have the thing. And as adults, most of the people listening here, probably adults, you have nothing to worry about. It is the children who are, many times they are not vaccinated and they become sick and they become the carriers. They bring it and they spread it around to their schools, and then they pass it on to people who are vulnerable within the network of people that your children are engaging with, so second, third removed. So please, this is something that we need to be careful about. Now, as I say be careful, there's also a mental health need. There's something that our psyche absolutely depends upon, which is community. Now, there's ways in which you found me here, I found you here through this beautiful virtual community. Like I said, we haven't taken a break in 16 months now, non-stop from March of 2020. We've been doing regular sessions. I've been recording it for those of you who are on different time zone, cannot attend. It's available on my YouTube channel. So finding creative ways for you to come together. Vivek Murthy, who is the Surgeon General of the United States, wrote a book about connection and the need for human connection, because loneliness is as detrimental as smoking a 20-pack of cigarettes a day. So this is now the new pandemic. This is the new cancer. This is the new thing that you need to really be cautious about, that you don't isolate yourself, even though we're living in these nuclear households and, all about I, me, myself. Find ways to come together in the most creative ways, even during the pandemic. There's ways to do it through Zoom. There's a way to do it with social distancing. There's ways to do it going for a walk in the park, etc. Whatever it is that is a way that works for you, please do find community and find ways to celebrate, find ways to create a ritual. Meditation, by the way, this twice a week ritual that I'm doing here, Wednesday night and Sunday morning, this is a ritual in itself. Rain or shine, I've been showing up with you, for myself. It gives me such a beautiful anchor for the course of the week. It's things that I work the rest of my schedule around for the rest of the week. So something like this, I encourage you to adopt. I'm not saying you have to be in my session. You can find something else. But whatever it is, find a ritual to come together and celebrate with other people. Number 3, sleep. Sleep is the natural stress buster designed by Mother Nature. It's something that has been with us. We sleep 8 hours a day. We sleep for thousands of hours in the course of our lifetime. It is the way that we can, regardless of how tense our day has been, it naturally brings us down to our set point. Now, one of the big challenges in this modern era, the age of distraction, we live in an age of stimulation. We have so many gadgets, the lights. We have these palm tops, laptops. We have devices that are constantly flickering lights in our faces. That is actually a detriment to your quality of sleep. It is a challenge to you be able to deeply rest. You need to be able to completely zone out. We need to be able to create what I call a sacred space. There's actually a term within medicine, it's called sleep hygiene. There's a place and a time when you prepare for rest, 30 minutes before you go to rest, an hour if you can, and likewise an hour after you wake up. No technology. Technology is by far the single biggest detractor for your quality of sleep. And I'll tell you, that's actually a fact. I was attending a conference some years ago, and one of the product managers, or the senior vice president of YouTube, was present at this event. And he was talking about data and statistics about the popularity. We all know it's this second largest search engine in the world. Do you all know what is the single biggest competitor to YouTube? You won't believe it. It's sleep. So this came out of the words of this person, this YouTube person. So when we fall asleep, they're losing their customer. So they are attention engineers at these social media companies who are spending billions of dollars to know how can they keep you hooked to their app, to their screen, to that widget, whatever that they're developing. So folks, we need to create a discipline. You see, when you buy an iPad, you buy an iPhone, whatever that widget you buy, the gizmo you buy, it's not going to come with that red book which are going to talk about life lessons and how do you create this essential boundaries. That is something that you need to set for yourself. And God forbid, if you have children that you have never exposed to boundaries and creating healthy systems of life, they will grow up in an environment they won't even know the difference of how you can live without a gadget 24/7. So it's very important. I have been saying this before, and I'll say this again. We are the first and the last generation that knows a life before the internet and after the internet. We're the only generation, I repeat it, who knows the life before and after the internet. And so we need to create those boundaries. We need to create those healthy guidelines. We need to create that life rules which will protect our sanity and help us to rejuvenate and relax. And so this is something that I want you to please take into account as to how do you get your 6 cycles of sleep every night. And I've done a whole talk on sleep. You can go look it up on my YouTube channel. And I explain the sleep cycles. I explain this idea of circadian rhythms and what does this blue light do to you and some of the tips that you can do to enhance your quality of sleep. Okay. Now you guys wanted to hear a story, so I'm going to share with you something from the 1970s. This is a story from Cambodia. There was a South African doctor by the name of Derek Summerfield who had gone to do some study in Cambodia. This was the time when psychotic medication was coming into the country for the very first time. And so Derek Summerfield went to some of the doctors. He met some of the psychiatrists and psychologists in the area. And he was having interviews, and he would talk to them in groups, and he would talk to them about the influence of psychotic medication in the Western countries. And so he would try to explain, and people in that country did not understand what is depression. Psychotic medication was a way to redeem depression, alleviate that symptom, but there wasn't an equivalent word so that they could understand. So when he was trying to explain it, they would talk amongst themselves in their language and come back and say, okay, we think we understand what it is, but we didn't need your psychotic medication because we already have a solution for it. And Dr. Summerfield was shocked. He was like, okay, tell me about it. What do you guys have? So we need to tell you a story to explain, put this into context. So they talked about this time, in Cambodia, Laos, and Vietnam, during the Vietnam War, the United States and the Allied forces threw so many bombs and thousands of tons of bombs, and many of them went unexploded. So they have unexploded devices that are lying all across the country in Cambodia, buried, some of them not. And sometimes what happens is when farmers are going to plow and till their land, they tend to trigger these unexploded devices and that blow up, and they end up killing them. If they don't kill them, they will maim them. So they talked about this one rice farmer who was one day plowing his field with on his farm paddy field, and he triggered this unexploded device, and he basically blew up his legs. Both his legs were severed, and he was in deep pain, and he was rushed into the capital city, and they performed a surgery, and they gave him prosthetic legs. So prosthetic legs was quite a gift for this person. The doctors thought that they did their job, and they sent this man away back to his village. And so the man went back with his prosthetic leg, and he was trying to go and till his field and try to make a living. Now, if you can imagine, with a prosthetic leg, it's not the same thing as having a natural leg. And if you know the paddy fields, some of them are terraced. And this man would have a very hard time to work through his paddy field with his prosthetic leg in those terraced land. And so he would be in deep pain, and he kind of at one point he gave up his profession as a farmer, and he was going into the state what we would define as depression. And so what happened is these doctors then summoned him after some time just to check on him to see what he's doing. And he found out that this person was going into this very, very painful state, and he had completely abandoned his career. And they decided that they're going to try to come up with a solution. So they listened to him very carefully and understood what is his need. And they decided at the end of listening to him that this man needs a cow. Yeah, they gifted him with a cow. And so what happened is this rice farmer with a prosthetic leg has completely changed his profession. He decided to go ahead and feed the cow. He's going to milk the cow, and he's going to sell the milk. And from that money, he's going to invest in some more into this dairy industry, that is small cottage industry that he started developing. And pretty soon, with the company of his cow friend, his cow mate, his depression went away. Folks, I'm telling you this story because of the difference in how cultures in the East, traditional ancient cultures, look at a solution, look at a problem and try to how to remedy it, and the Western way of looking at it. If you understand the real need by looking at the questions, by asking deep questions to a person who's suffering, you'll uncover it is not some sort of a band-aid symptom that you're trying to fix quick. There is a deep psychological need. The cow not only gave him milk and gave him an income, but it also gave him a purpose. It gave him company. It gave something for him to tend to, something for him to care for. And so when Dr. Summerfield came with this depression psychotic medication, they didn't need it because they knew how to listen to the community, and the community knew how to step up so they could care for the people who are downtrodden, who are slipping, who are going down to the dark space. So this is how communities look after each other. This is how tribes have been caring for each other through thousands of years. And today, as we get disconnected from that, we wonder why is anxiety on the rise, why depression and why suicidal tendencies are such off-the-chart limits. So learn to listen to yourself, listen to your family. And when we care, we can find solutions that are far more powerful than those drugs. And I'm not by any means saying that drugs have no role in society. Of course they do. There's a lot of science behind it. There's a lot of things that they can do to alleviate, immediately. They can try to help you on so many things, broken legs, if you're dealing with cancer, etc., etc. But I'm talking about the psychosomatic influences. The brain has such a big part, your mindset has such a big part in your healing process. And I'm talking about that. That's when community is so important, listening to each other, listening deeply, and understanding where does this person's pain lie. And let's all step up to reach out to that person that we have, that one phone call that we've been holding off. That person who lives in our communities by themselves, you see them slipping, you see them isolated, you see them alone. Reach out, my friends. And you'll see you can make a world of a difference to them. It means it could be the difference between life and death. Okay. Now I would like for us to shift our focus. I want you to go ahead and gently close your eyes as you're taking a nice deep breath as we move into the matters of the heart. I will lead you through a meditation to completely de-stress. Completely let go of your anxiety. 5 in, 5 out. Remember the swoosh. Remember to breathe in using the diaphragm. Opening up your abdominal cavity, breathing in deep like this naturally reduces your stress because it is activating your parasympathetic nervous system. Gently close your eyes and breathe in deeper and with each passing breath. allowing your attention to rest on my voice. Let the voice ground you in the present moment. Giving yourself permission right now to make you the most important subject, making yourself your first priority. There's nowhere else you need to be. There's nothing else you need to be doing. For the next few minutes, your well-being is your focus. And with each breath, feeling your lungs expand out, feeling your abdominal cavity expanding, and then dropping as you let go. Allowing this natural flow, this journey of life, prana, in and through your body. Notice any place that you may be holding any stress or anxiety in your body. Especially unfurl your brow, unclench your jaw, make your shoulders drop down from your ears. Open your palms if you've made a fist inadvertently. If you get distracted by some other thought, something else going on around you, simply acknowledge that it occurred and gently let it go, returning your attention to this voice. When you are stressed or anxious about something, it is often because we feel we're not in control of the situation. And the understandable reaction is to control the situation even further. And this need for control and sense of lack of control comes because of a judgment. You're judging the situation, which makes the situation even bigger than it really is. In the process, you're adding even more stress. And this cycle could repeat. So right now, I actually invite you to call to mind a situation that has been causing you anxiety. What judgment are you holding about it? And as you name the judgment, acknowledge its presence. Now give the judgment permission to drop away. You don't need it anymore. Let it go. Any story you've been telling yourself about the situation, recognize its presence and just drop the story as well. You may notice your mind pushing you even harder to hold on to the judgment and to those stories. Recognize and acknowledge those thoughts too. And just allow them to drop away. Continue to allow your breath to bring you back into this present moment. Now let's look at the situation again, but this time without judgment. No judgment and no stories playing in your head. Just observing. How do you feel? How's it different? Has the anxiety level or the stress changed? I invite you to look at the situation with total curiosity. Now, as we move into the silent part of the meditation, give yourself permission to open up to the clarity and direction on the very next step you would take. Not the next 5 or 10 steps, not all the steps to the very end, just the very next step for you to take. Continue, keep your eyes closed. All forms of tension, anger, fear, and sorrow dissolve away. At this moment, I feel tranquil and light. At this moment, I am content and one with myself. I am at peace. all is well, and all will be well. All is well, and all will be well. All is well, and all will be well. I want you to please bring your palms together in prayer position at your heart center. And then I want you to rub your palms against each other, kindling beautiful prana, life force, the chi. And once you feel like there's a nice, gooey, warm ball of chi that you've kindled between your palms, I want you to go ahead and apply those on both your eyes, one on each. And bless yourself. I'm a master of my destiny. I'm a master almighty authority. Success is my birthright. And now I want you to put your palms out, facing as if you're sending a blessing out into the world. And I want you to think of someone, some people, or some place that could really use some light right now. Now, just as the moon reflects the rays of the sun, imagine that you're a clear mirror that's reflecting the light of the Supreme Being, the Supreme Soul, to that place that needs the light, to that person or people. May their worries be removed. May their troubles in their way be removed. May they experience wellness in both the body and the mind. May they realize the love that they are. Bring your palms back together in prayer position. Just take a bow of gratitude for everyone and everything that has made this moment possible, for the many blessings in my life. If I'm breathing here, if I'm listening, if I'm enjoying this, there's so much more right in my life than wrong. Let's acknowledge that. And as we bring this to a closure, I invite you to gently open your eyes at your own pace, and I want you to please share the question which I posed. What is that first next step? What is that one next step that you'll be taking after this exercise for that situation that you came up, this anxious, stressful situation that you visualized during the exercise? I want you to go ahead and type that into the chat window so we may share if you feel it's appropriate. If you want to keep it private, I'm okay with that. I love it. Hugs and kisses. That's just, you said it all. Lovely, Amy. I appreciate that. Deep breathing meditation. Yes. Keep applying. Yes. Take the step. Buy the ticket. Then you can expect the lottery. Basic self-care. Trust the process. Indeed. Contemplation, Doreen. Thank you. Not judging others. Thank you, Stephanie. Yes. And I see that you are starting to donate. I appreciate that. Donations are an important part of this karmic cycle. I offer my services, my wisdom, my experience, and you do what you can to support me. So go and smash up that donate button, and let's keep supporting each other as we go through this. Confirm appointment with specialists. Thank you for your talk. Needed it and love it. This was wonderful. My first visit. Thank you so much. Forgive myself. By the way, so I'm doing a deep dive. This was just skimming the top of the surface. I'm doing a deep dive this Sunday, the 22nd of August. Sunday for me here in California. It may be Sunday evening for those of you in Asia and Australia. It could be middle of the night, but I just want you to be aware that I'm hosting my first virtual retreat at home this Sunday, the 22nd of August, which is the holy day of Raksha Bandhan. It's a day-long virtual retreat from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific. Each session will be recorded, so even if you can't participate in all of the sessions, go ahead and register so you can get recordings for each of them, so you can do it at your own pace. The idea is to take the life lessons, the big ahas, the realizations from the pandemic, and seeing how do we apply that as we go into this new normal. It's also a way for us to do the sacred ritual, as I said, the congregation creating the sacred space. And the beauty of this virtual retreat versus all of the retreats which I do in person is that you create that sacred space in your house. So that way, when we walk away from the retreat, you still have cultivated the light, you've still cultivated the ritual, you have that space, you have the vibration that you're going to live with. And those who, if there are others who live with you, then they benefit from that too. So that's happening 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. The first half of the day will be I will be guiding you, you'll be in silence. The second half of the day will have interaction, dyads, triads, creative exercises, etc. Now, one of the popular questions many of you asked is, do I have to sit the whole day? Absolutely not. Every session, 1 hour, will be followed with 1 hour of stretch break, self-guided exercises. You can do it at your own pace. You can get up and eat, go walk, talk, do what you need to do. But remember to keep that sacred space. Remember that you have that intention that is you're in retreat. So I'll send you all of that information the night before. I'll send an email out on what to prepare for to be ready for this event. And the way that you register is when you click on the bottom right corner, you see that logo which says live with my picture in it. It'll pull up mentoring workshops. And when you go click on that, you'll be able to sign up for this thing called Retreat at Home, Virtual Retreat with Jay. So that's happening this Sunday, my brothers and sisters, and you don't want to miss that. It's just an incredible way for us to have a deep dive into rejuvenating, completely letting go of our stress and anxieties. I'm going to talk about a number of things about how to sleep well, lots of deep breathing exercises as well. And so I'll teach you some creative exercises where I'll walk you through steps to understand what are some of your specialties, your skill sets, which make you unique as the person that you are, and how do you apply that to your life so you're living a purpose-driven life. And I'll do that, all of that as part of the creative exercises, as part of the retreat. So I also offer one-on-one mentoring on this app. And if you're not familiar with it, again, go ahead and click the bottom right corner on the live button, and it'll show you that you can sign up a time in which I will guide you through life mentoring, career mentoring, or somatic, which means wellness mentoring, one-on-one with you. You can do a single one-off, or you can sign up for a package. You get a discount of obviously if you sign up for a package. Again, information for that found on the button on the right-hand corner of your screen. My space, it seems to be my laundry room lately. So be it. We'll make a creative, sacred space out of your laundry space. Evelyn, did I miss what the music was? Is it on YouTube? Evelyn, this is one of my friends. His name is Niall Phoenix. He lives in Melbourne, Australia, and he's one of my favorite musicians. He's a long-time fellow meditator. He's been meditating for 40 years. It's with the same order that I was a monk with. I was a monk with the Brahma Kumaris for 20 years. So many of you know that. And so Niall is a musician, and he has a lot of recordings that he offers. You can look him up, Niall Phoenix. I'll actually type his name if you guys want to actually pull up his... go ahead and download his music and support him. I think it's just an incredible, gifted musician, and you should take benefit of it. So he's got a number of different albums on this app called Bandcamp. And if you look up Niall Phoenix, I think Bandcamp should come up, and you can see his different albums. You can download it, and he's a very generous soul. And you just basically pick the amount you want to gift to him as in exchange for the download, and he'll take it. And that's just a fantastic, beautiful gift exchange model. Okay, what other questions? I'm happy to hang around and address anything else that you want me to talk about. Otherwise, I think there's about 385 of us. Appreciate you all. Thank you all for being here from across the globe and holding space with me. And like I said, be sure to sign up to my newsletter, to my circle, so that way you get reminders for every time I'm going to go live. Any questions, any topics you want me to talk about, go ahead and drop it on my circle. On Meditate with Jay, I can't find new meditations. On YouTube, yes, because I've been on vacation, Marcy, for the last 3 weeks, and I've been moving in the last 1 week. By the way, those of you who just joined, this is my brand new empty apartment. So literally, I just hooked up everything today, this desk, the microphone. As you know, we had a little bit of starting trouble here. But so I will be, this session, for example, will be the first recording I'll be posting on YouTube after almost a month. But for those of you who haven't visited my YouTube channel, there's almost 100 different episodes. Like I said, we haven't missed a beat since the beginning of the pandemic. Just that when I was in the Dominican Republic, I didn't have my professional gear, the sound system, my lighting, etc. So I didn't want to record that. So you want me to spell my name? Here we go. Okay, so Kelly's asking, in fact, that I like to spend so much time learning how to deal with insomnia and anxiety and just so many other things that you're speaking about, and then I spend some time on it, not getting a lot of my things done, which causes more stress. Yes, this is why, Kelly, you need to take time to make it a ritual. It's not something that, you just kind of binge watch, like, going on Netflix or something like that. But if you make it a daily ritual and say the first hour, this is what my thing is, first hour is my sacred hour. Nobody gets in the way. So I pick a thing. I listen to some recordings, some of the teachers that I follow, and you can pick up one of my YouTube lectures, whether it's on sleep or anxiety or this one which I'm recording right now, and make that part of your ritual. If you think about it, right? If I'm doing breath work, some wisdom nuggets, and meditation, what better ritual, what better morning routine than that? Again, I don't want to be conceited to believe that you can't make a better ritual, but I'm just saying, if you have nothing to start with, I would suggest this is a good sequence to start your morning, and just notice how the rest of your day flows. Right? It's really about how you set your intention, how you set your course along what is true north for you. And then you see the rest of the rails will you'll just keep running on those rails. Once you point yourself in the right direction, the momentum will carry you through. So try that, yeah. I was trying to find breathwork. Marcy, look it up. I've got plenty of, every session has pretty much, I think not 100% every one, but most sessions have breathwork in the session, like we did today. So if you find my YouTube videos and start playing the 1 hour long ones, it's very likely that you'll find some very different breathworks. I always mix it up, as you all know. So yes, you can go do that. Okay, folks, thank you for your donations. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for the beautiful comments and your presence here. Every one of it, breathwork, wisdom, storytelling, and meditation. That's my set of, Gianna, that's my usual sequence. That's my 1 hour set. Yeah, and you can go look up on my YouTube channel. You'll find plenty of beautiful nourishment for the soul. Okay? Until I see you all again, so I will not be doing a Sunday morning Joy with Jay, which is my usual 30-minute morning breathwork and meditation this Sunday. Why? Because I'll be in retreat with you all. So please don't expect us to do the 30 minutes. You sign up and be with me the whole day. This is our day to come together and dive deep into our spirits and rejuvenate ourselves. So I will see you all on Sunday at the retreat. If not, I will see you again on the same channel someplace, sometime next week. Until I see you all again, be strong, be happy, be that light for the world, and be well.